Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you about a couple of things in this video: Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, and Syria primarily. I'm going to start off with Gaza. Israel is continuing its massacres against the civilians. The health authorities in Gaza reported that over 45 people were martyred from the civilians and over 280 were wounded in over 6 strikes that Israel carried out across of Gaza. This came simultaneously with fierce resistance. Al-Qassam brigades, they targeted Israeli forces in Rafah. They targeted the Merkava with a Yasin 105. Their biggest attack was a booby-trapped house in Rafah that led Israel to admit that 3 of its soldiers were killed and 5 were wounded. And again, that's only what Israel admitted. They also had a couple of strikes on the Netzarim line alongside Sarai al-Quds, the armed wing of the PIJ. They declared that they bombed the Netzarim line with 120 and 60 millimeter mortar shells. That's in Gaza. We still had a level of intensity in Lebanon, not very fierce, however. Hezbollah declared that they targeted Zabdin base and al-Baghdadi base with confirmed strikes. In Yemen, they're intensifying. The Yemenis are intensifying. These people stick to their words. So long as the aggression in Gaza persists, they continue, and they have mass protests every week saying, Gaza, you're not alone, and they're continuing to have very sophisticated and high-level strikes. One of them was on an MQ-9 that they took down, a UAV, and they also had 5 additional strikes on the genocide coalition. One of the most important developments that we've had was in Syria. Now, Israel regularly targets Syria as a place where the resistance has a lot of benefits in terms of movement of weapons and expertise from the Iranians and from the other resistance movements from Iran towards Hezbollah and also the Palestinian resistance movements as well. However, this strike was in a civilian neighborhood. Israel obviously doesn't declare the type of strikes that they carry out in Syria. As a matter of fact, many times deny it. Even when they reported in the Israeli media, they would say a strike that was attributed to Israel. Now, one of the most significant recent strikes that they had was against, obviously, the Iranian consulate in Syria. That led to Iran responding with the massive, unprecedented strike on Israel. This strike in Al-Banyas area, it led to a child, a girl, being killed and at least 10 wounded in accordance to multiple reports that we've had from Syria. But it wasn't always just in that region. The Syrian government, they said that they intercepted enemy targets in Homs area, and they targeted them with anti-aircraft missiles. Israel is clearly not fazed by all of the accusations about them committing a genocide, even with the increased criticism when it comes to Rafah. They clearly don't have anyone to stop them, and Benjamin Netanyahu is seeing nothing apart from his own wishes, and this is coming to his benefit to an extent in Israel. We're having more talks about Benny Gantz resigning. We have meetings with other officials in the Israeli Knesset who are working to have some sort of a coalition to take down Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu is starting to close the gap in the polls. Imagine that. So despite the fact that you've had this ongoing genocide and massacre, and many people in Israel say that he's a massive failure, he's a criminal, the blood of the Israelis on his hands, he is neglecting the prisoners, you still have people who have faith in him, and he's increasing in popularity in Israel, which is going to make it difficult for the opposition to try and form a government, especially with the talks that we might have a forced action coming from the opposition, particularly from Gadi Eisenkot and Benny Gantz, whether he wants or he doesn't want it, whether Benjamin Netanyahu wants an election or he doesn't want it. We have reports of Benny Gantz saying we need to have an election to have a better future and reach a deal, because with Benjamin Netanyahu, he's selling delusions to the Israeli people, and his targets, his demands of completely demolishing the Hamas are completely unrealistic.